the main functions that we need to take place. So in that, the first thing is the starting and plugging. So before going to start, we need to make one equation, that is that relationship is between the speed and the torque. So that will be given by the transient operation equation, that is J d omega m by dt is equals to T of omega m minus T1 of omega m. So T of omega 1. So T of omega m is equals to the torque at normal speed, and T1 of omega m is equals to the torque at the time when it is on load. When it is on load is nothing but when with the consideration of the load. So that gives the one equation for the transient operation. And the next thing is starting and plugging. So what happens? So how actually the transient behaviors takes place at the time of starting and plugging. So that we will look at here. So we know that one equation, that is T by T max. So T by T max is equals to 2 by S by Sm minus Sm by S. So while doing the analysis of performance and analysis of the induction motor at the first session, we derived one equation. So that equation will be given by T by T max is equals to 2 by S by Sm minus Sm by S. So I am just using that equation here. So instead of T, I am using this equation. T is equals to 2 into T max divided by S by Sm minus Sm by S. So I am using that same equation here, and as it is same, T1 by omega m. So what happens when we are operating with the no load condition? So if for some considerations we need to take place that the actual motor is on no load. So how would be the behavior? So at that time, that is when the motor is on no load. So the equation becomes J d omega m by dt is equals to only this much, 2 T max divided by S by Sm plus Sm by S. So that the same thing I have written here. And the next thing is just replace the J in other form. Just take out the J term. How? So we know one equation. So what is that equation? That is omega m is equals to omega ms of 1 minus S. So this is for positive sequence response. So for the same negative sequence response, that will be equals to 2 minus S. Omega m equals to 2 minus S. So for the positive sequence response, that is omega m is equals to omega ms of 1 minus S. So just take the differentiate by d omega m on both sides. So what happens, that is if you differentiate this equation with respect to dt, so the equation will be like this. That is d omega m by dt is equals to minus omega ms of ds by dt. I am just differentiating omega m is equals to omega ms of 1 minus s equation. So I am just replacing this d omega. I am just taking d omega is equals to minus omega ms ds. So dt get cancelled here. So omega m is equals to so in place of d omega m, in this place we have to take this d omega m. I am just taking this d omega m into this equation. So what happens then? Then what happens, that is dt. So this equation. So dt is equals to minus tau m by 2 s by sm, sm by 2 plus s by sm. So sm by s plus sm by s. So sm by s plus s by sm into ds. So yesterday I told that tau m is the mechanical time constant, because the transient analysis that we are taking place at for mechanical devices, keeping the steady state analysis, keeping the steady state operation, that is from actually what is meant by transient analysis. Transient analysis is nothing but a changeover of systems from one steady state point to another steady state point. So the same thing we are applied for mechanical systems. So this tau m will be given by j omega ms by T max here. So j omega ms divided by T max. So that will be given by Tmax, so tau m. So tau m is the mechanical time constant. So for the time required, okay, so the time required to start an induction motor on no load. So if I am going to start the motor on no load condition, so what is the time required to start? So that will be given by Ts is equals to minus tau m by 2. So Ts is equals to minus tau m by 2. Take the integration. So by 1 to 0.05. So we are taking the integration from 1 to 0.05. Because it is considered for 95% of loading. So when we are going to consider for 95% range of speed, so we have to take from 1 to 0.05. So then what happens? Then S by Sm plus Sm by S. Same thing. S by Sm plus Sm by S into ds. So when at certain points, after reaching the certain points, the time after shifting the time intervals, the steady state. So what is the condition of the state, that is from transient condition into the steady state condition? So this steady state is reached to the transient condition. The state of the motor is under transient condition. So that will be reached to the steady state condition when S is equals to 0. So we are just considering for S is equals to 1 to 0.05. So here when we are going to consider for S is equals to 0, so what happens there? The motor will be brought back into our steady state condition. So steady state is nothing but our ideal condition. That is, it's a normal condition without any hazardous or without any fluctuations in the voltage or current. So whatever. So without any disturbances or without any vibrations, if the motor is under in standstill condition or in a normal condition, so that will be called as steady state condition. So this transient condition to steady state condition will be takes place at S is equals to 0. So what happens when the motor is reached into our final speed? So when the motor is reached into the final speed, the steady state equilibrium speed. So this is steady state equilibrium speed is nothing but a final speed. So here the transients are considered for 95% of full range speed. If I am going to consider for 1500 rpm, that is 1000 rpm, so the 95% is that about 950 rpm. So till the 950 rpm, the motor will be considered that as a steady state condition. So after reaching this 950 rpm, what happens? The transients may be considered. So till then we need not to consider about the transient conditions. So after reaching the 950 rpm or nothing but the 95% of range of speed, so that will be converted into transient conditions. So what would be the time equation then? So time equation will be given by Ts is equals to tau m. So 1 by 4 Sm plus 1.5 Sm. Just I am integrated the things. So what the final equation that we got is Ts is equals to tau m of 1 by 4 Sm plus 1.5 Sm. So till now I hope the concept is clear. So this is about the time equation when the motor is considered at starting or at plugging. So here what happens? The starting time. The starting time is a function of Sm, the slip motion, and starting time has a minimum value of 1.22 tau m at Sm equals to 0.04. So the same thing here. At Sm equals to 0.04, the tau m value will be 1.22. So this is some standard that derived from the equation. So that we derived from the equation. So if you are going to start a motor, so at that time what happens? The starting time. So the starting time is a function of Sm. So here this Sm. So when this value of Sm is 0.04, the slip of the motor. So when the slip of the motor is 0.04, so the minimum value, the starting time has some minimum value. So that minimum value will be 1.22 times of mechanical time constant, tau m. So here the rotor resistance is required to start the motor in minimum time. So whenever you people are interested to start the motor at some shorter durations. So at that time what happens? The rotor resistance. So the rotor resistance is required in order to start the motor for shorter durations. So here that rotor resistance will be given by Rrm dash. So the rotor resistance to start the motor. So this S is nothing but start. So the rotor resistance to start the motor will be given by 0.4 of Xs plus Xr dash. So Xs plus Xr dash is the reactance of the rotor. So for the slip of 0.4, so we are considering for the 0.4 here. So the rotor resistance at the time of starting will be given by 0.4 of Xs plus Xr dash. And at the same time, if you are going to stop the motor, or breaking of the motor by plugging is nothing but the reversing of the voltage. So what would be the time? So at that time, what would be the time? So that time will be given by minus tau m by 2. So 2 to 1, integration with respect to 2 to 1. So S by Sm plus Sm by S ds. So if you just integrate these things, you will get tau m of 0.345 Sm plus 0.75 by S. So these are some standard integrations that we derived from the equations. If you just apply the mathematics here, so the time at the time of breaking by using the plugging. So we are in the part of starting and plugging. So plugging is nothing but a breaking of a motor. So nothing but the stopping. So here we are just stopping the motor. So we should know what would be the conditions for the starting of the motor, what would be the conditions for breaking of the motor, and how to change the speed. So these are all the things we should know in order to analyze it for the transient conditions. So transient conditions are the worst conditions. So we have to prepare always in our life, we have to prepare for the worst conditions. Should not get settled when we are satisfied with the minimum satisfactories. So we should not satisfy with the minimum pleasures. So that's why you people always remember for the worst conditions. So like that also here, the motor is ready to analyze for the worst conditions. Worst conditions are nothing but our transient conditions. So here again, the time required in order to break or in order to plug or in order to stop the motor. So that would be given by tau m of 0.345 Sm plus 0.75 by Sm. So here the stopping time. So the stopping time is a function of Sm. So Sm is slip of the motor. So the slip of the motor is a function of stopping time. So with reference to the slip of the motor, we are drawing the time constants. What would be the starting of the time? What would be the stopping of the time? By using slip of the motor. So the minimum value. So just by comparing the starting, at the time of starting, we have considered for the slip at 0.4. Here the slip at 1.47. So here the slip at 1.47. The minimum time in order to stop the motor will be 1.027 tau m. These are some constants. These are some constants when we are operating with the slip at 0 to with the 95% range of speed. With the 95% range of speed, these are the constants. Sm is equals to 0.4, Sm equals to 1.47, and tau m 1.22 times of tau m, and here 1.027 times of tau m. So this would be the slip constants and time constants at the time of stopping of the motor, or nothing but plugging of the motor. So what we derived? We derived the time constants for starting and we derived the time constants for the plugging. So if we use the same rotor resistance at the time of braking, the braking resistance, the rotor resistance required to break or to require the plug the motor. So will be given by 1.47 times of reactive impedances, that is XS plus XR dash. So here this is 0.4 times, here 1.47 times. So how we got this 1.47 and 1.4? These are the time constants for at some standard slips. So depending upon the different time ranges, different speed ranges, we can change the values. Automatically the values will be changes. So next, the time required for speed reversal. If you are running at some constant speed, so you have to change the direction of the rotation of the motor. So in order to change the direction of the motor, rotation of the motor is nothing but changing of the speed, reversing of the speed. So this reversing of the speed will be done by plugging. So when the motor is running at no load condition, so that the plugging will be given by TR, the time required. So this is the time required to reversal of the speed by using plugging. So that would be given by minus tau m by 2. So here the integration is taking from 2 to 0.05. So the standard slip values. So for S by Sm plus Sm by S. So here the one more time constant 3.69 Sm by 1 by Sm. So this is the minimum time required. So at Sm equals to 0.5 to 2.88 tau m. So what is the condition here? The first condition was to start the motor. The second condition is to break the motor. And here the third condition is to reverse the speed of the motor by using plugging. So these three time constants that we derived now. So in order to make the arrangement for reversing of the motor by using plugging, we have to maintain some rotor resistance. So this rotor resistance when at the time of reversing of the speed, so will be given by 0.52 times of reactive impedances, XX plus XR dash. So you have to keep remember the different constants, time constants at the time of starting, at the time of braking, and at the time of speed control. So these three equations gives you the time constants at the time of transient analysis for starting, plugging, and speed control. Okay, and I hope the concept is clear to all of you. So by knowing that, I am just forwarding now with the second step, that is calculation of energy loss. So the calculation of energy loss. So how much amount of the energy is we are losing in our motor windings? How much amount of energy that we are losing in our motor windings for starting as well as plugging? So at the time of starting and plugging, we may lose the energy in terms of heat losses or in terms of vibration losses. Vibration are nothing but if when actually the vibrations takes place when we are exceeding the limits. So if you are exceeding the limits, the motor may starts vibrating. So because of this vibration, we may lose the mechanical strength. So these are some kind of a loss, and we can lose in terms of winding losses, in terms of heat losses. So we are just calculating these kind of losses. So the rotor winding amount of energy loss at rotor winding, so that would be given by EST. So EST is nothing but energy lost during starting. So during starting, so this equation will be given by integration of 0 to Ts. So from standstill condition to starting of the motor, Ts. So that will be given by 3I square R. So we know that one equation. So that would be given by 3IR dash square. IR is the rotor current, RR dash, stator dependent rotor resistance. So we are using that equation here. So, and also we know that one power equation, that is I square R, 3 IR dash square. So actually the relationship between power and energy. So the integration of power is nothing but energy here. So if you know the basic definition of energy, the amount of time required to carry out any work, the amount of energy that we need to carry out any work is called as power. So we are just reversing that power, reversing the definition of power. So we are just bringing out the time durations required for this creation of power. So that will be given by energy. So that energy is here. And but we know that one EST, that is starting of the energy at the time of starting, will be given by integration of 0 to Ts omega ms Ts dt. So how we got this omega ms? So just resubstituting here. So we know this torque equation, that is Pg by omega ms. So this Pg, just substitute this Pg here, 3IR dash square RR dash by S divided by omega ms. So I am just resubstituting here. So in the textbook, they have given directly. So if you just observe the equations directly, you may not understand. So I am just carried out here. So how we got this equation? By using this. Okay, I hope you got this point. I hope you got this step. So in the textbook, he has given directly this step to this step. So how we got this? Just you have to refer these two equations. So this power equation. So the torque equation, the power divided by the speed will be given by the torque. So instead of using this equation, that is power equation, I am using Ts. So when the machine is operating under no load condition, similarly, we have to analyze the systems for no load condition as well as full load condition. So when we are going to calculate for the no load condition, at that time we have to neglect the no load torque. So normally what happens at the time of no load, the torque will be given by J d omega m by dt. J d omega m by dt. So J omega ms ds by dt equals to T. The formula that we derived earlier. That is omega m. D omega m by dt is equals to, by using omega m is equals to omega ms of 1 minus s. So I am using that formula here, J omega ms, that is omega m is equals to omega ms of 1 minus s, just differentiating that omega m. So what do we get? D omega m by dt is equals to minus omega ms of ds by dt. So minus J omega ms ds by dt will be equals to T. So here T dt is equals to J omega ms into ds. So just resubstitute here. I am just resubstituting this equation here. So E starting will be given by minus 1 to 0 J omega ms square s ds. So normally we got one equation, that is E equals to of J omega ms square. This is the standard equation. Normally, I hope you people can look at this equation everywhere. Normally, energy will be equals to of J omega ms square. Or you people also witnessed one more equation, that is of kg square of J omega ms square. These are the some standard energy equations. People need to remember how best we can execute or execute our energy equations. Just like Ohm's law, we can write Ohm's law in 5 types. So like that we can execute our energy equations. So different types. So this is also one more time. So one more time, when we are going to consider with the motors under no load condition. Here the energy loss. So as we discussed earlier, we know the energy loss. So this energy loss is stator winding. the rotor winding as well as stator winding. So first we discussed about the rotor winding. So in the rotor winding, usually we may witness about the mechanical losses, since the rotor is continuously rotating. So there may be a loss in windings or maybe a loss of mechanical due to the mechanical rotations. So here we are just witnessing one more losses, that is in stator. So in the stator, what happens? We may observe these kind of losses in terms of heat or loss in winding. So you will need to know what are the different conditions, what happens actually in stators and rotors at the time of losses. So this is the one more condition, that is for stator losses. So energy loss in stator. So this will be given by same IR square RS dt. So same equations, just derived using the same steps. So you get at the end j omega ms square RS by RR dash. RS by RR dash is stator dependent rotor stator resistance. So the first thing is the stator resistance and stator dependent rotor resistance. So total winding losses. So if you want to consider the losses in motor, you have to consider the losses at each part. So by combining all those things, that is the stator loss as well as the rotor loss. So the total loss at the time of starting will be given by ES is equals to half j omega ms square. Just add this equation and this equation. Just adding this one and this one. So half j omega ms square and plus half j omega ms square of RS by RR dash. So this would be the energy loss equation at the time of starting. So you have to keep remember these equations, useful for solving the numericals. And one more thing is the rotor winding loss during stopping. So we have calculated the loss for starting, the same time for stopping. So at the time of stopping, what happens? The j omega ms square ds. So will be equals to j omega ms square by 8. So what it is? For starting, we have to consider from 1 to 0 or minus 1 to 0 or 0 to 1. So here for stopping, we have to consider the final condition to the initial condition. The starting will be normally takes place at standstill to some prescribed values, some standard limits. So similarly, the stopping will be take place from the final value to starting value. So that's why 2 to 1. So j omega ms square s ds. So after integration, we'll got j omega ms square by 8. So j omega ms square by 2, j omega square by 2, 2 plus 2. So here by 8. So the total rotor winding losses is j omega ms square by 4. So which is 1/2 of the copper losses. So which is 1/2 of the copper losses when there is no provision for doubling of the pole number. So what it means? Doubling of the pole number. So if you want to minimize these losses, you have to make sure that the number of poles of the machine are doubled. So when you have to minimize the losses, so the total rotor winding loss so will be equals to, that is for combining both starter as well as stop. That is by combining both starting as well as stop. So if you just observe these two equations, the final, you have to add those things. I think I missed one more equation in there. Yeah. So similarly, the stopping, we need to consider one more equation. So this is about starting. So this is about starting, rotor winding at the time of stopping. So similarly, the rotor winding for starting. So the starting will be given by 3 by 2 j omega ms square. I mixed one equation here. Okay, I will make this sure better. So similarly for stopping by plugging. So we are using 3 by 2 j omega ms square. So with that j omega ms square and this j omega ms square by 8. If you combine those two equations, you will get j omega ms square by 4. So this will be the 1/2 of the copper loss. So 1/2 of the copper loss, which is the main loss. Normally what happens, normally the losses in our motor, maybe copper loss, iron loss, that is core loss. So these are comes under the core loss and the iron losses. So some more losses, that is friction losses. Since the motor is rotating in nature, the rotor, so in the rotor we can witness the friction losses. So by considering all these things, the main losses are the copper losses. So the 1/2 of the copper loss will be lost in terms of loss. So one major part of the loss is copper loss here. So this is about the transient analysis. The transient analysis and the starting and stopping and speed control, and next thing is energy loss. Calculation of energy loss. So this is about one part. And the next part is the speed control. So normally what happens, we need to start the motor, we need to brake the motor. So same like that, we need to control the speed. We need to control the speed depending upon the requirement of the motor. So there are about 6 types of speed controls are there. The pole changing, the techniques, different speed control techniques we can witness in our motor are that is pole changing, the stator voltage control, the supply frequency control, eddy current coupling, rotor resistance control, the slip power recovery. These are the different kind of speed control strategies. So the mainly what happens, the squirrel cage motors. So the only pole changing method. So the pole changing technique will be used only for squirrel cage motor. And the stator voltage control, the supply frequency control, and eddy current coupling. Speed control using stator voltage control, the supply frequency control, and eddy current control, eddy current coupling. So these 3 methods will be used for both squirrel cage as well as wound motor, wound type motor. But the other kind of technique is there, that is rotor resistance control and slip power recovery. The rotor resistance control and slip power recovery. So these 2 methods will be used only for wound type of motor, wound type of rotor motor. So depending upon the type of motor, we need to implement the speed control, whether it is squirrel cage motor or wound rotor type motor. So based upon that, we have to consider the different speed control strategies. So here we are studying the stator voltage control method. So this stator voltage control method will be used for both squirrel cage motor as well as wound rotor type motor. So what we are actually doing in the stator voltage control. So this is stator voltage control, as name itself indicates, we are limiting the voltage which is supplying into the stator. So just by limiting the voltage supplying into the stator, we can control the voltage. So we can control the speed, the rotation of the rotor. So how? So that thing will be discussed in our next session. So here what happens mainly, we are just reducing the rotor voltage. In the in the stator voltage control, we are just reducing the stator voltage. So when we are going to reduce the stator voltage, automatically the speed, the torque of the rotor will be controlled. So by reducing the stator voltage, the speed of a high slip induction motor can be reduced. So what happens here, as torque, so we know that the torque is proportional to the square of the voltage current. So T is equals to 3 IR square RR dash by P, RR dash by S. So the equation that we just seen in the previous slide, T is equals to 3 IR dash square into RR dash by S. So here 3 is directly proportional to IR square. So T is directly proportional to IR square. So torque is proportional to the square of the voltage current. So square of the voltage. So V square by 3 to omega ms. So T max is equals to 3 by 2 omega ms divided by R dash by SS, R plus RR dash plus XR dash. So V square, T is directly proportional to V square. So similarly I, so I will be directly proportional to voltage. So because of this, what happens? Whenever the voltage reduces the speed. So here, since the torque is directly proportional to the square of the voltage, so whenever the torque is increases, automatically the voltage will be twice of that. So since the current is also directly proportional to the voltage, here what happens? The torque is directly proportional to the current. So torque is directly proportional to the speed. So because of the voltage, the changes in the voltage directly proportional to the changes in the speed, because torque is directly proportional to the voltage. So voltage is directly proportional to the speed. So the change in voltage changes with the speed as well. So I hope people got the concept. So we'll repeat the same thing in the next session. So now if you have any queries, you can ask.